Hello, everyone out there in internet land. My name is Xander Raylo, and this is my co-host, Michael Fry.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Too Many Games, the show where we are two GMs with too many players, too many games, and way too much free time to talk about it. So we're going to sit here and talk about it with you. So, when did you start first being a player, playing games and GMing? What got your first interest in it?
Well, honestly, it was Neverwinter Nights. Computer game came out in 99, I believe. And I was playing it on dial-up internet. Terrible speed.
Oh, that.
Somebody calls, kick you off your game. But I didn't even know it was D&D, honestly. And my friend got me into it, and we started playing online, and a few years later, this same friend comes to me, and he's like, hey, you want to play an actual game of D&D? And I turned him down for so long, just would not play it. And I finally agreed to it. He finally broke my spirit, and I played with him. And I had a blast. What about you?
I've had, I've had two starts. One was my try, and my other was the actual getting into Dungeons & Dragons. I had an ex whose family was very into tabletop role-playing games, and I was just into the plain role-playing aspect. I wasn't into the dice rolling and that kind of deal or the statistics. I mean, I played RPGs, but with an RPG, you hit a button, and then you hope the computer's random chance gets you enough for a hit. You don't see the dice roll. But I loved my girlfriend at the time, and I wanted to make her happy, so I agreed to try it out. I've had maybe 4 different experiences. I cannot remember to this day if all of them were Dungeons & Dragons, because I don't remember the systems very well. I know one of them was, for certain, but I don't know what the games were for the other systems. I think the other was just a straight D20, but I'm not sure. It's been too long ago, I don't quite remember all the details, but the first game I played, and this was a game that my ex was in, a friend of mine was in, and actually one of our players was in at the time. And I listened in on every now and then, and I was sufficiently entertained, but I was also really bored because I wasn't a part of it. Eventually, they let me try it, and I was really into Final Fantasy IV at the time, and I wanted to be a Dark Knight. They told me that at the time, Dark Knight was not a thing. So I was like, okay, can I be a paladin? I was like, well, yeah, you could, but what about Bard? I mean, okay, I was really hoping to be a paladin, but they told me that they had this character on standby who was a Bard, and they kind of needed someone to fill the role. And they were trying to really kind of sell me on the idea of a bard. I can't quite remember if I bought into it or if I just kind of gave in, but they rolled their stats or I rolled the stats. I cannot remember this process for the life of me. I don't even remember what my stats were. I was told that they were pretty good, but I don't know if they were just being nice. I lamented the fact that I was a bard. I didn't really know what bards did at the time. Again, I played Final Fantasy IV. It wasn't exactly the best example of a bard.
Right.
So, I played about a half a session. I think at the time I got mentally crushed when somebody... this was text-based, by the way. This was not a vocal RP. They were not as big, so this was all done by text. So, somebody texted, like, when is he going to actually start doing bard stuff? And I remember thinking, what is bard stuff? Like, now, I can't say if they gave me the information and I wasn't listening, or if they gave me the information and thought I would get it, and I didn't really say that I didn't. That one, it's probably my fault either way, but my heart wasn't into it, so I played a couple different games after that, and I'd say out of the 4 games I played with them, one of them was a genuinely fun experience, some sort of um, supernatural thriller thing where I kind of played an Alan Wake kind of character. I did that one with my brother. That was fun. We had fun with that one. But every other time after that, I couldn't get into it. It wasn't my thing. I just kept breaking her heart. Which, pro tip first for the show, even if you love somebody, don't do something because you think it's going to make them happy unless if you're really going to put some effort into it. That's a good relationship ender right there if you're not careful. No, my actual resurgence for D&D was probably a lot of people's resurgence nowadays. What with now our web shows and that kind of stuff, Critical Role, Web DM, that kind of stuff. That brought me in. That clued me into the aspect that I didn't know could be done, which was the performance aspect of it. And like, oh, you can tell a story with this. It's not just rolling dice and saying, oh, your character dies just because you fail one roll.
Right.
Did anybody ever, like, when they came to you and told you and tried to explain it to you, did they give you the whole, if you fail a roll, your character could die?
Oh, yeah. My first DM was brutal. Or at least he thought he was. I was playing a Warforged Barbarian. And I had no clue what Warforged was at the time. They explained it to me as Iron Man suit without Iron Man. And I'm like, okay, that sounds awesome. So he had all this stuff that he thought was difficult thrown out ahead of us. And I walked through 90% of it because he didn't expect a Warforged. Right? The DM did not set this up. It was my friend who was assisting DMing. The other DM, he didn't live near us, so he would come down and run a game every now and then. Yeah. And like he threw a bunch of zombies at us. Well, I'm a big suit of armor that can't be turned into a zombie. I don't die. I don't sleep. So I was picking zombies up and just slamming them into each other and killed his DM NPC with his own zombie,
You see, I was given the I don't know if I was given or I was kind of explained, like, there's some situations where if you fail a roll and you die, and I think that was the turnoff at the time.
Right.
I was, 18, 19 when I was trying this out. At least 18, 19. And again, I was more into telling the story, having fun. And I just didn't want to create a character where one roll killed the character instantly. I didn't have, I guess, the starting to accept the idea that, hey, a character could probably die. I was like, no, I want to tell a story with this character. I want, battles with this character. I want to make a pass that kind of happens. So that turned me off initially from D&D for the longest time. Putting my hands into chance, essentially. Death was not so much as the turnoff for you.
No, definitely not. I hadn't experienced a character death either at this point. It's kind of a funny story. My first character death was in our second game, which was kind of a knockoff of Ravenloft. It was more, we were playing Magic the Gathering characters in this world, and I was playing a black guy. And then the deck of many things came out in this game. And I had to fight the Wraith.
Oh.
And it drained my character today. Somebody pulled the wish card, and the entire game restarted because they were leaving. I hated him for that too. I wanted to strangle him.
As of this, I've yet to have a character death, but haven't played much. We've been mostly bouncing back and forth between responsibilities as the DM, and the time I am playing mostly serves as kind of assisting.
Right. Especially when I didn't have a computer for us to play on.
Oh, God. That was the dark ages. So your first system was what? 3.5?
3.5, where there were 40 or 50 instant kill spells, more traps that could kill you instantly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you stayed with 3.5 for a while. Where did they introduce you next? Because I went, I went from Crapshot system to World of Darkness.
Right. Well, 6 months later, 4E came out. So we played it. It was good. At the time, it was good.
How long did you stay with 4E?
Not very long at all. Like, we had all the core books, and we ran for about 6 months, and they kept updating this character builder. And it was pretty much the easiest way to build characters with it. They kept updating it, and they just ruined their own system. But the next was Vampire the Masquerade, which is World of Darkness,
Mm-hmm.
And I ran that.
Was that your first game that you ran?
It was not the first game I ran, but it was the first insane game that I ran.
Well, what was the first game you ran? You ran 3.5?
I ran a 3.5 game. It was Oriental Adventures, which was basically L5R before... Well, it was the third edition of L5R.
Legend of the Five Rings?
Yes. It was a D&D conversion. Samurais in a frozen tundra. And then there was that one guy that had to be a Spartan.
Oh, my first DMing experience is, of course, where I first ran into you. And I cannot remember a time where I haven't been more intimidated. So...
Really?
Intimidated by the prospect. My girlfriend comes up to me and says that there's a friend that she knew from her RPC forum days.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, he's an avid player. He's kind of interested in what we're doing. He says there's a way we can do a Justice League Dark kind of Vertigo, Hellblazer kind of deal using I believe it was World of Darkness you initially suggested.
It was World of Darkness I initially suggested, yes.
Yeah, and before I could even say anything, she then adds me to the call.
I remember that.
Yeah, and I was just going, okay, cool. Never done World of Darkness. I barely know what it is. And I knew at this point, I didn't have a system. I did a superhero game, focused on the Batmans and sidekick characters. And I still didn't really know what D&D was. I watched enough shows at this point. It was like, okay, they roll this, and this happens. And I got a set of dice. And I wanted to roll the dice. D20 plus D10. Sure. Roll. Bam. Something happens. So, it wasn't a system as much as random chance. And then later to appeal to some form of a system, I tried to have it make sense. But even then I knew it was a house of cards that was held together with wet Scotch tape. So it's not really that pliable. And just kind of bundles up in between the cards. And collapses in on itself. That was pretty much my system. So having somebody who, according to my girlfriend at the time, knew what he was doing, I immediately knew that one look on it, and it was going to go, yeah, he's going to realize that I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
But that was okay. It was a decent system for what it was.
It was. I'll give you that. It was a storyteller system, if anything.
Right.
And it's not something I'd ever resurrect, but it was a storyteller system, and it did fine. There's a reason though why once that campaign ended that I took that system and threw it in the trash.
Right. It's not the worst system I've ever played in, though.
No.
I played in one butchery of 2nd edition for another superhero game once. I don't recommend it.
How did the butcher 2nd edition?
They tried to combine 2nd edition D&D with reverse Call of Cthulhu rules.
Like the insanity portion?
Kind of, and they were rolling down instead of up. So a 1 was good, a 20 was bad.
Okay, reverse rules.
Reverse rules. But they still they didn't use D10s, they used the whole selection of D20. Which, I'm like, if you're going to use a percentage system and roll down, just use a D100, you know.
Mm.
But, and it wasn't that bad of a game, it was just the system was very iffy for what it was.
So was that your first experience of 2nd edition?
Well, actually, it was the video game Planescape Torment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's based on 2nd edition rules, mainly. It's fun. But that was the most experience I've ever had with 2nd edition.
Was it the only experience or the most?
The most.
Well, you know, I think that's the thing that a lot of people kind of fall into the trap. They think more is better.
I'm one of those people who have fallen into that trap.
During the early days, I had players who were starting to experiment with the idea of delving into Dungeons and Dragons more. I had a player who came up to me with a character sheet that the player created off my system. And if it sounds like I'm doing air quotations, it's because I am. The character sheet I was handed was the perfect example of too much. There was an ability that could only activate if somebody was injured, but that could only happen if that person made a perception check to notice that person was injured. And then they had to hit that certain percentile.
Right.
So, like, I noticed that the people I worked with, when they tend to do something, it falls down into the trap of they think more complicated is more deep.
Right.
And I have working with you on a lot of stuff, I tend to find, you know, the simpler the better.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we use the Strange in my Marvel game, which is good for what it is.
Yeah. It's a role-player's game.
It's a role-player's game.
We have a Marvel game that we run the Strange with when we get to every now and then, any hero from the Marvel roster, and we found that the Strange is the best system one. A very simple D20 system that's more up to the DM and the player's imagination, as well as constantly correcting the other individual about which comic something else happened in.
Yes.
Or which universe we're using in, or whether we accept that said universe.
Right.
You play a game with a bunch of comic fans, this is what happens.
Yes, you end up in endless comic debates
or
all day long.
Or you play a game with a bunch of comic people, and you get that one person who's only ever seen the movies.
Yes.
So they have to stop and explain to that person, okay, just because Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man had organic webbing, Spider-Man didn't always have the organic webbing.
Right.
And then you have to explain to the other person why Gwen Stacy had sex with Norman Osborn.
Yeah, let's not go into that one.
No. You know, we haven't really said why this is called Too Many Games. I mean, obviously the title's a pun. But
do you want to name them? Or count them?
Well, here's what we do. Let's break down an average week, an average 7-day period. On this week, as of we are recording alone.
Okay.
We have done, we'll go by system only. We have done one, on Thursday we did a Star Wars Saga edition, or D&D 3.8 as we call it.
We had a game Wednesday.
We did have a game Wednesday. It wasn't mine, was it? It was mine.
Yes, it was
Oh,
yours.
no. See, it's already, I can't even remember. It was this week. We did a 5th edition game on Wednesday. We did a Star Wars Saga edition on Thursday. On Friday, we did a
World of Darkness game.
a homebrew World of Darkness game. And tomorrow we have 5e Curse of Strahd.
Yes.
So that's 4 games. And that's that's our usual week? We didn't even try to do Marvel this week.
No.
That would have been, that's 5 games a week. Now, the 5th edition game is bi-weekly. But, even assuming that, dropping down to 3 or 4 games a week, average about maybe in the 3 or 5 spectrum. Let's go more and say 5. That's 5 games every week for a month. So, typically 4 weeks in a month. 20 games in a month, 20 games in 1 month. 20 times 12. Math stuff I can't do off the top of my head. And we are at least doing... I'm going to put a counter corrector on this, a counter corrector at the bottom of the screen. I just know it. We're doing at least 24? No.
No, that's way too...
That's way too low. 120?
That's if we're lucky. If we're lucky, we're doing 24.
Folks, I'm going to break it to you. I graduated with a bachelor's in English, not math. Anything higher than 10 with multiples, I need more time with. Post-edit me is going to put a counter corrector on the screen right now. There it is. That's a lot.
Roughly 60 games.
Roughly 60 games. And that's assuming we do the most every week. It probably, if we guess, maybe about, let's be generous, say 40 through 60.
Hold on. Wait, nope. Sorry, that is not correct. That is...
It's okay. Post-edit versions of us are going to put the corrections on.
240 games a year.
That's 240 games a year on average. All DM'd by him and me.
Yes.
This has been this way for 2-3 years now?
Going on 3, yes.
Going on 3. So for at least, being generous, 2 years, 240 games a year. We've done a lot. And the only reason why we've done so a lot is because a bunch of our people are just bored.
Yes.
We're all people who have day jobs or going back to school or about to be in school and we have nothing to do. We have personal lives, of course, but this is our creative escape. So, we're 2 GMs with way too many games, and they have let us know that we have way too many games.
Yes, they have. But they still play them.
They still play them.
They still ask for them every week.
We have a lot of stories, a lot of good, and a lot of not good.
And I believe it was your girlfriend that threatened me that I can't drop games anymore.
Oh, no, yeah, you can't drop games anymore. No. Oh, yeah. So, with every game comes, some things work, some things don't. The very first game that we ever played with you was also the very first game you dropped. It was World of Darkness, Beast of Primarl, using New WOD, I believe. New World of Darkness.
Yes.
And we tried that for a while, and to me, it wasn't clicking. You've yet to kind of find something that was kind of grasping interest, and when you started to kind to, that's when you kind of fell off.
Right.
But she was really into it, and it did break her heart that she had to, at the time, let that character go. Now she and I resurgence that character in something else, so she's fine now. But with every game comes, not everything works out. We have tried Planescape. Lasted a grand 2 sessions. We did L5R, but she was not a part of it.
We did do L5R. She was not a part of it.
4 sessions?
We did 3 sessions of it. Time just got the better of me there, though.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Vampire the Masquerade. Now, we lasted that one for a while.
That one went 20 sessions? 30 sessions almost?
Your guess is better than mine, but it did go for a while. Actually, we have a chapter chart on the site somewhere. If we go there, we could probably figure out at least what chapter we were on. But I would say at least that lasted 20 sessions. That one lasted for a while.
It did.
But we had to drop that one too. We put the homebrew one on hiatus for a while, and that was making her nervous. But eventually, I got a point. She just said, I can't keep getting invested in characters and you dropping them at the dime in a hat. Pick one, stay with one.
Yep.
And she hasn't.
Here we are doing 5 games a week.
But, okay, we had the threat of no more games. Oh, what's our other pitfall? We keep bringing in too many people.
Yes, we keep getting people.
You know that great thing of what people call that open door policy? Where, yeah, bring your friends in. We'll introduce the world of D&D. Yet when it starts getting about 9-10 people per session...
We should have went West Marches style a while back. Yeah, unfortunately, we're friends with all of our players, so...
Yeah, that just makes it a little bit harder.
Yeah. Not impossible, but harder.
9 per group is rough. It can be rough. Which is why we have 2 people. 3
it's
people.
Especially rough online.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing they do not prepare for. One thing that the shows do not prepare for, because most of those guys have the advantage of... They're doing the smart thing, and they're playing and filming with people in that same area. With studio employees, or friends in the business, and that kind of deal. Or they're inviting somebody who is around their area.
Yes. We are from all over the world.
Yeah. We can't really do that. No, we need a trans-dimensional portal to get people out of certain countries and states to get them into one spot.
We've got 3 from Canada, 1 from Ireland,
mm-hmm.
And then the rest of us are scattered all throughout the states.
Yeah, 3 from Canada, 1 from Ireland. He's officially the farthest. And most of us here are scattered here in the U.S.
Formerly 1 from Australia.
Formerly 1 from Australia. Yes, the very, very early days. She was the farthest at the time.
Did I ever tell you that I know how to roll it where it will always land on a 20?
You did teach me that.
Yes.
Let's just say it's a unique placement of the thumb at a certain angle that you drop it.
That's why you make them roll it. You make sure they don't just drop it. They got to roll it.
You're rolling over 16 a lot on the D20. And I mean like a lot. Like, are you really that lucky? Really? Was it you that I talked to? That it was you who suggested roll 20?
Yes.
And
I had initially suggested just this little dice rolling room that I had used in the past in my games.
Mm-hmm.
But then I remembered that roll 20 existed. And I had an account there.
And that helped. It did. Now being able to see everybody's dice rolls and all that, you can't dispute one of the rolls unless somebody finally found the way to alter the numbers and roll 20.
Right.
If you have, let me know. But don't let me know. But let me know.
Yes, leave that in the comments.
Yeah, we're getting comments. Yeah, we're getting comments. My mother's going to be down there going, "This is great. Keep it up." I don't know what any of this means, but it sounds nice.
That's okay. As long as we don't get demonetized, it's okay.
We're not even monetized.
Exactly.
We'll be demonetized before we're even monetized.
That is a possibility.
Which is why this current episode is branded by 5-Star Notebooks. The first random item that is currently to my right.
I can recall a time
that we tried to kill each other?
Where I wanted to.
I recall one. I don't know if we're thinking the same one. Killing the werewolf. You wanted to kill the werewolf. Everyone was like, no, we gotta play politics just a little bit. Play politics a little bit.
Like, no, let's just go murder him. Let's go murder him and murder the vampire right now. Let's stop wasting time talking. Let's go kill them.
I think that was that's the time I'm thinking of where you didn't storm off, because first that requires a table for you to get up and storm off from that I can see you. So you had your character storm off?
Yes. I had my character storm off while dragging his token across the screen away from the group.
We can't leave a table. And so if I want to flip a table, I say, my character flips the table, sets it back up, says sorry, walks off. You can't even get into the cool fist fights and stuff offline. You can't tell the crazy, like, dude, the guy activated trap, killed the character, so Bob ran over and punched the guy in the face. Yes, I used Bob. We don't even get that. What's the most we get? He stormed out of the Discord room.
Yeah, I think we need to give a little more context here with that.
With the Bob or storming out of the Discord room?
Storming out of the game here. The time I was ready to just kill everybody.
Okay.
So we had spent 4 sessions talking.
Oh. Yeah.
These are 4 2 to 3 hour sessions just talking. The problem with that is we only play this game once every 2 weeks.
Yes.
So we had roughly wasted about 2 months talking.
That's not counting the side stuff, too.
That is not counting the side stuff, no.
No. What was the whole... Oh, it was... It happened was... We had decided, or the group had decided, hey, we're probably going to go to this area where there's a lot of vampires and werewolves. And then a player got nervous, thinking... In the end, after I spoke to the player, thinking that I was throwing them in a situation that they were most likely going to die in. I mean, they could have died in it, but I doubted it. And so that person brought it up to the group. And that caused the in-sessions, and then the game sessions, and then... I don't know if it was actually 4. It might have been 2, plus a lot of side talk that just made it feel like 4 games. It was at least... I'll give you this. I think it was at least 3.
The small combat rounds that were in it did not compare. They did not compare.
One of the lessons that some people know, that just because you know something doesn't mean that they do.
Right.
And sometimes you have to tell them, guys, I will not allow you to go to an area where I was going to kill you. Unless I was giving you a red herring to go to this area to kill you, so I just tripled your paranoia. But in this case, I'm not trying to kill you.
One of our biggest problems is that we've got players who like to keep it safe. They like to play things the smart way. Kudos on them.
Yeah.
But, kudos for doing it the smart way. But over 3 to 4 sessions, 2 weeks apart.
The smart way works when you have a group of 4. A group of 2, even.
Yes.
You could do the smart way and get an entertaining session of that. When you're doing 9 people with the smart way.
And in my Ravenloft game, we've got the exact opposite problem.
Oh, yeah, everybody's being all risky.
Everybody's being completely risky, running into it, and I'm like...
Well, okay, I think 2 are. 2. One of them died for it.
One of them died for it.
I don't know, like, we told everybody, this is Dracula, this is vampires. We're gonna run up and kill it. Well, fuck, guys.
I'm gonna go smack it with my sword.
I'm gonna go touch the glowing mass of things under the water. Start combat before everybody got into the goddamn room.
Yeah, okay. Congratulations.
You're the first character death.
You're the first character death. One shot.
I've never seen a game where everybody just said, let's just go crazy. Like, yeah, fuck it. I don't care. And maybe the fact that we told them this was a limited campaign, you only play up to a certain level, So now, like, the fuck it button is always hit.
Oh yeah, they started with the fuck it button pressed.
I'm probably going to be the one to permanently die because I'm playing it safe, but alright, let's do it.
See, I've learned something over the years. Whenever you warn players and say, hey, this game's going to be in a little harder mode, you know, it's going to be a little more difficult than your normal game, that hits the fuck it button right there.
We should just tell them that this game's a breeze.
Right? For
Like,
real.
you guys don't even, like, roll dice. You can just, like, say you succeed.
And they will be a lot more careful.
Because they know that when we tell them that something's probably easy, what they really mean is that we're gonna sneak attack them with something. Who do you think that they fear sneak attack more from, you or me?
Definitely you. Because you will set it up 2 weeks in advance. You will have a sneak attack happen and then end the session.
Oh. Yeah, what? Whereas you, like, you most of our games are played by a week basis, so they figure, okay, he's only got maybe like a week to plan this, so.
Yes.
So he's probably not going to throw the sneak attack on us.
And then I throw the sneak attack at them.
And then you throw the sneak attack on them.
And I sneak attack them in the most special way possible to just miss every single roll. So, by the way, if anybody out there knows how to make Roll20 roll what you want it to,
yeah,
let us know in the comments.
Okay, mom, if your friends online can tell me, if they know the source code to change Roll20, when you say this sounds great, you can also add that source code into the comment section below. Oh, no, I'm sorry, right. My mom probably wouldn't make a comment in the comment section. My sister, if you could make the comment in the comment section and find that information, that would be great. And that is all we got. Thank you for listening to us all the way through. We're quite done talking about ourselves. So next week, we're going to talk about player backstories and some of the things we enjoy about character creation. Ooh. If you like what you hear so far and want to support us, we have a Patreon page where just for a meager $5 a month, you can help support the show. Best part about it is that if you don't like it, you can cancel at any time before the month ends. No problem. Whoa. Hold your flamingo. If you want to support the show but you're not sure about donating, then just share this video with your friends, fellow players, and DMs who want background noise while they create. Just think of us as friendly voices in your ear. And only one of us has homicidal tendencies. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. Until then, we'll see you next week. Thanks again.